Lift the banners, call to flight. War bonds burn holes with no beta inside. New Prowler cargo, but what for? Money, money, money. What ship do you adore?
Straight to the war bonds today. We've got a $20 discount on the Defender. This is pretty much standard fare for Alien Week. Seems like this one well, look, there's not that many alien ships to go around, right? So the Defender's going to come up every once in a while. The Banu Merchantman's going to keep coming up until it releases. Then who knows what happens. What else do we have? The Prowler and the new Prowler, which we'll cover here in a minute. And then, the Talons? I don't think the Talons have ever had one. But anywho, $20 discount for the Defender. And I think we've covered this very recently when we were talking about something else down here at the 185 mark. The Sabre, Firebird, and Peregrine have had a war bond recently. Hornet Tracker Mark II and Ghost have had one recently. Avoid the Mark I. And after that, you're leaving money on the table. So, look, you could also spend the $10 here for the Zeus. Yeah, the Zeus MR, we don't really have a release date yet, but it'll be a while still. So, I mean, that's the biggest discount, so you could go with that. Just flat out, you could do that. If you haven't gotten to the Zeus MR, then maybe that's not such a good decision, right? And since you can't buy the Zeus by going over here and typing out Zeus, right now, I'm not going to recommend it unless you've already got the Zeus MR in your stable. So back to the Defender, we've got the Zeus MR as the biggest discount. However, if you don't already have a way to get to the Zeus MR, because we don't technically know when it's going to come out, we assume next year, right? Because they're not working on additional functionality and stuff this year. They're working on building out the verse, adding more missions and whatnot that already use existing functionality, etc. And they're not working on producing anything new, supposedly, besides ships, of course. So take that with a grain of salt if you want to do this as the biggest discount. But if you don't get to the Zeus MR in, most likely IAE or even Invictus next year, depending on when bounty hunting is really going to get worked on, because we don't know exactly when bounty hunting 2.0 will release, let alone get worked on, this ship has some time to come out still. So you could do that. As long as you get there, you're fine. But if you're worried about not getting there or not paying attention or something and missing it, then you could go with something like the Sabres or either one of these Mark II Hornets. And really, it's a wash. They're all the same. They've all had one each because they're all relatively brand new. It's just a sense I get, but I kind of feel like the idea behind the Hornets is going to have them come around more often because they're this new thing still. Sabre Peregrines were really offshoots of the Sabres that already existed, the Comet being one of them. The Hornet Mark IIs are all brand new. Just kind of seems like they're going to offer these more often, but I really have nothing to judge that on. It's just my guess at this point. So if you've already got one of these, put that thing together. If not, they're all equally good choices. There are no ships below 220 that have war bonds today. I guess we had a couple options, right? The Cartual is here, the Talons, and the Nox, I suppose, technically could fall into that category. So, but none of those are offering a discount today. It's all a 220 and above. And usually, again, this is Alien Week, so most of the time it's only alien ships. However, there's a few end of Invictus new ships that still have war bonds available. So I am going to go through those in case you missed Invictus videos about war bonds. The Railen is made available. This is not a war bond discount, but this ship is still a concept vehicle, so you could get it now for a discount. And realistically, I would go to the Defender because it's available right now and you can lock in that discount. If you had a Terrapin or Terrapin Medic from IAE, you could link to those. I think all three of these make a decent choice, but the Defender's a no-brainer because it's available right now. Beyond that, it's a reduction in price, and it will cost you more to buy the war bond. So I would not recommend any of those. I would recommend these three, specifically focusing on the Defender to get to the Railen right now. After the Railen, we do have the Santok. Again, no discount, but it is available. If you need to make that link in your chain for some reason and you don't want to wait for a war bond for the Santok, you can get it now. Maybe you had $5 left from the Santok, what would it be? Yeah, if you had this, if you had gotten to the Cutlass steel with war bonds and you just needed the $5 to upgrade to the Santok and that's a ship you wanted, you could do that now too. You're never going to get a discount from the Cutty steel to the Santok, so this is how you would complete that chain. So keep that in mind. They create forced and fake scarcity with some of these ships because they don't make the CCUs available all the time. And I'm not talking about the Warbond CCUs. I'm just talking about regular CCUs to upgrade from one ship to another ship, right? They're not always available. So if that happened to fit your chain, if you're trying to get to the Santok and you made it to the steel, you could totally do that. That's fine. That's actually recommended. Ideally, you would use store credit to make that purchase. Going past that, and again, the Talons are available as well, so all alien ships are available right now that I can see. The Guardian MX is still available. This is a newly released ship for a $20 discount. Best bet here is to go to, I'd say the MSR, right? If you don't have any of these three ships in a Warbond CCU, I would go for the Mercury, Warden, Guardian QI in that order. Again, they're all $260. It's all the same discount. So for that matter, it doesn't matter which one you're going to go with. But the relative consistency of any of these three ships coming around in the Warbond CCU game, the Mercury wins out, maybe significantly. But the Warden is a good second choice. Guardian QI, I don't think there's not enough history for that ship to really make a determination on it. Unless, of course, you got it when it came out. There was a Warbond when this thing came out. And you can see here, Guardian QI this year, it was a $20 discount. So if you got that one, of course, use it. Don't ever buy a Warbond CCU that you don't have to make. Like if I recommend the Mercury, but you already have a Guardian QI, just use this for sure. Right? I'm trying to make recommendations for people that have just started the game and I make the assumption with most of these videos, day one, today, when I release this video, if a person has never played the Warbond CCU game, what should I recommend? Because A, they don't know the game as well, right? Of course. And B, for them to get the links along a chain to get these bigger discounts, they're going to want to kind of choose those that we have history with. The Mercury has a long history of having Warbond CCUs. The Warden's pretty good. Guardian QI is brand new. Again, if you have it, use it. If you're wondering which one you should pick because you don't have any, I'd go with the Mercury. Next up here, we see the Prowler Utility. This is a new ship. It's a variant of an old ship, actually, is the way I should say that. It is a $25 discount, which is good. It's not the same price as the Prowler. The standard Prowler is what, $440? Let me double check that. Standard Prowler is $440. It's significantly less. It is not a drop ship. I don't know why there's a drop ship tax, but I do like that they're offering variants of the drop ships at significantly lower prices. Like, that's a good thing. Okay? The drop ship tax, it's like, the joke is it's the price of the ship is based on how many seats they have, right? And that just adds up. So that's the ongoing joke for drop ships because they're very expensive compared to other ships that are available. And so it's very good, I think, that these reduced price ships that mimic those same drop ships have significantly reduced in their overall pricing. I think that's a good thing. Anyway, getting back to this, $25 discount right off the bat. It's the same ships that we had in the previous example of the Guardian, but it's $15. So although this is the exact same ship lineup that you would go to from the Guardian that I just walked through, it's going to cost you $5 more. If you're going to the Prowler Utility, yeah, any one of these ships is going to be fine. Again, same weighting scale. I'd go with the Mercury first, Warden second, QI last. But if you're looking at these two ships to fit into a chain, I suppose this at a $25 discount versus this at a $20 discount, and them being $5 difference, it just seems like, I mean, there's a thing. It's a $275 ship, right? So you don't have that many options. up at the top end. Because it goes Vanguard, Warden to what's 275 above that, right? What's that? The Sentinel. Okay, so yeah, you go from the Warden to a bunch of $275 ships, and then the Guardian MX, of course, and then yeah, there's just not a lot here to choose from. So I suppose if you're building a chain from scratch, it's a matter of filling in a $5 gap with store credit or paying out of pocket for an additional $5, right? So that would, if you're trying to build a chain and you're trying to figure out which one of these two ships to use in the chain, you have to make the decision for yourself if you want to pay $15 or $10, basically, right? So this one will get you to $300, a $300 price point from a $260 ship for $15. This one gets you to $290 price point for $10 from a $260 ship. Okay, so if you already have the Guardian MX, I probably would not recommend buying this one unless you're doing it for a different chain. Okay, so you can't do both in the same chain unless you want to use a non-discounted version of the Prowler, which doesn't make much sense. So it's an okay discount. It's actually a little bit better discount, right? Because it's $5 more for an additional $10 discount. So overall, it's a little bit better. But if you already had the Guardian MX from just Invictus, right, 2 weeks ago, or last week or this week, because it's stayed in the store since then, probably doesn't make a lot of sense unless you're going for the 32 SCU version of the Prowler. Now, there are still 3 drop ships, or jump seats, sorry, what did I say? I said drop ships. There are still 3 jump seats in the Prowler. It's got reduced firepower, but it's got some sort of stealth mode capability, which is odd because I thought stealth didn't really exist in the game in its current iteration. Not really. At least not the way it used to exist. So that whole thing has me a little confused because, well, yeah, I'll just leave that one there for you to chew on for a minute. I'm not sure what niche this is going to fit besides flogging more whales for additional capital. I don't know what to say about this as a ship. So maybe I'll do a separate video about that. Again, if you're trying to get to the Prowler because you want that in your chain and this is your chain, or this is a final step in your chain, go for the Mercury, I suppose, unless you've got the QI or the Warden already in your stable. I'm not sure the use case for this ship yet, quite frankly. And of course, I haven't flown it. It's supposed to release with 4.2, which is what, next week, June 15th, or what is it, 15th, 18th or something? I don't know. Next week sometime, we may get 4.2, provided nothing goes wrong. So I guess I'll try it out then and see if it's nuts. I'm sure I can find somebody who bought it. You didn't catch the sarcasm in my tone there, did you? Okay, cool. Moving on. Next up would be the Asgard, which is still available. And quite frankly, this ship has grown on me significantly. This thing has grown on me. I may add this to my CCU chain list. I really might. It might stay there permanently. Anyway, $25 discount for this one. Both of these make decent choices. They're both at the 315 mark. I'd probably lean towards the Mole over the Aquila. I think I probably did that in the last video as well. If I didn't, really it's a wash. They're both pretty good. Let me jump over the CCU game app so you guys can see. So here's the Mole. It's had, well, I think I said plethora last time. Thank you, El Guapo. And thank you, El Guapo, for making a cameo in my video. I was blessed. Thank you so much. So here we go. It's had plenty. The Aquila has had a couple, but they've been relatively recent, right? So throughout 23 and 2024, we haven't seen any yet this year for the Aquila. Maybe we will. The Mole, like I said, I lean towards the Mole just a little bit on this particular CCU chain. Next up, the TAC. I think we've done this one to death. $35 discount. Caterpillar, best choice. Again, don't do the pirate edition. Anytime it says edition, it's usually a bad choice to use on the left because you can't CCU to that ship in almost all circumstances that I can possibly think of. I'm sure I will be proven wrong at some point by someone who knows something more than me, but I don't have any way to get to either one of these editions of these ships. And they moved away from this as well, right? Instead, they've done it differently since they ran into this issue, I would hope. The Redeemer makes an okay choice too, but the Caterpillar is just a staple. So if you look at this, the Caterpillar has had one a year at least since 2021, probably later as well. And if we look at the Redeemer, it's also pretty good since 2023, 2022, 2021. Yeah, they're both pretty good. They really are, as far as using in the CCU game. So either one of these works. I sort of lean towards the Caterpillar, maybe because they're making improvements to this ship all the time. Not all the time. And not often enough, I guess. Never mind, scratch that. They need to make more improvements to the Caterpillar. But it keeps coming up as a ship that's extremely old, but keeps getting updates, instead of going the way of the Hornets or something. Just saying. And then last but not least, we have the Merchantman yet again. No price increase. So, I mean, hey, we'll take a win when we can, right? $650 still for this year. We'll see if that changes next year or when they start working on it. I seem to have a feeling that this ship's going to be really expensive. But we've already got ships that are increasing so much in price that it's tough to tell where the end will be for some of these. Anyway, $50 discount on this ship. And we've got a lot of tough choices to make here, right? We've got four concept ships until you get to the M2 Herc, which is a release ship that doesn't seem to be changing price every year. And because they're both concepts, it doesn't much matter. You can pick any one of these concepts that you feel comfortable with and get to the Merchantman. Because both are concepts, feel free to use this in a chain. Whatever chain you want. If you're going to the Merchantman or beyond, it's fine to use this link in a chain. Same for the Arastra. If you want to use this one for 25, totally okay. I say it's okay. If Zi-Tek says it's okay, you can use it. Hull D doesn't make any sense at all. It's twice the spend out of pocket for a war bond. Because it's a war bond, this is new money. So it's an additional $25 spend out of pocket. So don't do that. Don't do that. It doesn't make any sense. It's one of these two. And if you want to guess which one's going to come out first, well, let's see. Technically, Carrier is not out in game yet, right? Transport is not in game, but cargo is. just cargo with vehicles is not in game yet. Mining and refining, well, that's all in game. So, and let's see, Anvil and RSI. This might use a lot of things for all the other RSI builds that are coming out. This, I don't know if they're going to change the look of this ship or not. So, I don't know. Interiors of these ships could probably be done using existing assets for both of them. But technically, light carrier and transport isn't in game yet. So that fully built out functionality doesn't exist. So it's more likely, I suppose, that the Arastra could come out first. But I don't know whether that even matters for the CCU game discussion, right? It's up in the air. I think maybe slight bonus to the Arastra because it should come out first. But again, I don't know if that's going to be beneficial for this or not in a chain. So there you have it. One of these two is probably fine, guys. And that's it. That's it for the Warbond CCU stuff. Jumping over to the store here, we've got packages. There is a discount to the Railen. What did I just say? There is a discount to the Alien Week starter package. So this is basically a starter pack, right? Includes the game, includes a ship, the Sulin in this case, 24 months of insurance, which is meh. Flight suit? Just a flight suit, not a full set of armor? Come on, guys. So a flight suit, a helmet, and a rifle. I do like the S71 rifle. good rifle, but I don't know. I don't like buying these packs unless there's like LTI or at least 10 years. I don't know. It's just me. I don't like hassle. And it seems like insurance is going to be a hassle even if it's not a big deal or expensive. Standalone ships, you can buy the Prowler, $275. It is a discount at $275. It's $300 ship regularly. So basically the same discount for the War Bond. The Guardian MX is available. So is the TAC. So is the Merchantman way down here. This is not a limited whole ship or anything, so it's available for as many as you want to buy if you're a Mr. Moneybags and just want to spend out for concept ship pricing. But keep in mind, concept, this price will go up. That's why the War Bond is so good, right? If you have an older War Bond, you went from a $250 ship, or maybe even a little bit lower, to a $650 ship, and eventually, sheesh, this will probably be an $850 ship or something crazy. By the time they get done with it, and it actually releases, I bet it'll be an $850 ship. That makes sense. Maybe even more, because right now, in concept or otherwise, even in discussions, it's the Merchantman and the Kraken Privateer. Those are the only two ships that I'm aware of, minus some random talks about modules for things like the Cuddy Black or something, right? Minus module talks that I've seen. Those are the only two ships that have stores in them. So you can have a merchant and a sales area within those two ships and none others. So they're going to be relatively exclusive, even though I don't know how much use they'll get. With PvP in the game, I'm not sure how useful an actual merchant-based ship where you allow anyone to come onto the ship when you're not there to sell and exchange goods. I'm not sure how well that's going to work out. It seems like somebody's just going to hijack an open ship, but that could just be me. I don't know. There's some others here. We still have the MTC. Oh, look, the Railen. Railen is available for concept pricing. And of course, we have the MTC with a War Bond. Atlas Geo is here, but no new Atlas that I've seen has hit the store. Expect that one with 4.2 maybe. They've stated publicly that the only way to get the combat version of the Atlas is in-game. I don't think that's going to stick for long. Like, I can't imagine, with all of the monetization that this company has done, with all the different things, I can't imagine a combat version of the Atlas would be one of those things that stays unpurchasable. I'm okay with it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not suggesting that they add it to the store today. I think it's kind of cool that you can earn it in-game before anybody can purchase it in the store. I think that's fantastic. In fact, earning things in-game is the way you should be doing it. And that's what I'm going to do with most of my ships. I have a very small list for my Warbond CCU chains, right? Now, it's ever-changing, and I have more CCUs than I'll ever use. But you see my point. Anyway, I think it's good that it's not in the store yet. Flat out. I'll just say it. I'm glad it's not in the store. I think that's a good move. I think it's better this way. I don't think everything should be monetized. So there are a couple new things in the packs. New is, I guess, perspective. I'm surprised they didn't have both Prowlers here, but they added a Prowler and a Talon, which is interesting. It's an interesting choice. I really genuinely expected both Prowlers to be here for like $650 or something. Maybe they're, I don't know, reducing the total amount possible, even though this one's $600, right? Like you save 25 or 30 on each ship. I don't know. What do I know? I know nothing. I know nothing about why they put these packs together or how they decide to do them. Guardian Trio at least makes sense. It's all three of them, right? Starlancer, Attack, and Fury. Sure, I guess that makes sense. Kind of. Right. It's, I don't know, whatever. Starlancer, Twin Back, sure, that makes sense, even though aren't there three of them? Asgard and a Nova, sure, sort of makes sense. The idea is that it can fit a Nova, for crying out loud. Like, that's amazing. There's not many ships that can fit a Nova, especially one that's crewed by two people effectively, right? That's cool. That's a lot of big cargo space. Like I said, this thing is growing on me as a ship. Anyway, that's it for this. There's nothing else in the other regions except paints. Again, I don't cover paints, so that's it for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it provided at least a little bit of value. It seems like there's a lot of repeats besides the Prowler thing. So Hopefully you fit them into your chains and get some discounts on these long chains for half price or more. That's it for me, guys. Enjoy the song. Zi-Tek, out.
Out in the void where the stars burn bright, the band who came calling one fateful night. In 2430 we shook their hand, a bond forged forever across the cosmic land. Alien week we sing to the skies, full first contact spark in our wondering eyes. From soul to the stars we share their lore, in Stanton's glow we open the door. Lift the banners, call to flight. War bonds burn holes with no beta inside. New Prowler cargo, but what for? Money, 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 what ship to door? The Sheehan bring wisdom, their ships slick and grand. Taverns, old scars teach peace to the land. Von duels still clash, but we dream of a day when all join the table where hope lies the way. Alien with Spanish fly high in the ports, from Herson to our corp in markets and forts. We trade the strange goods, hear tales from afar. United we stand neath the same guiding star. Lift the banners, call to flight. War bonds burn holes with no beta inside. New Prowler cargo, but what for? Money, 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 what ship to adore? Each year we gather our cultures entwined to honor the moment when fates did align. The UE's heart beats for worlds yet unknown. In Alien Week's joy, no soul stands alone. So raise up your glass to the Banu and more, to the aliens bold who've walked through our door. In Star Citizen's verse we'll forever decree